Welcome back. You're watching Today. Let's take you to KZN now, where Kwazulu-Natal will be hosting its inaugural Youth Economic Indaba in KwaMashu next week. The Indaba's theme is accelerating economic growth and investment in KZN to aid South Africa's economic recovery plan. Now, the aim of the gathering is to discuss youth perspectives when it comes to the country's development path. It will also discuss the youth's role in growing KwaZulu-Natal's economy. Bonga Makhanya, who joins us from KZN, is part of the South African Youth Economic Council. He joins us this afternoon for this chat. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Bonga. And maybe tell us a little bit about this particular gathering and why it was so important to have it centered around the youth. Usually, young people are left out on big conversations when it comes to the aiding and recovery of the country's economy. Hence, young people being being the most unemployed in the country at the moment.
No, definitely. Greetings, Ropiwa, and greetings to all South Africans tuned in. The South African Youth Economic Council saw it fit to convene the Youth Economic Indaba, which is a platform for young people to come and engage strategic players in terms of some of the economic empowerment that they seek to see and some of the current challenges that they have in accessing some of the resources that will enhance them to be active economic agents. So as a council, we firmly and strongly believe in the role of the youth at an ownership and managerial level in some of the strategic sectors of the economy. And we believe in a layered and aggregated approach that speaks to provinces and that speaks to local areas and local communities. And hence why we've decided to take this Indaba to KwaMashu Township and go to where young people are. And it's incredibly important for us to hear from the lived experiences of young entrepreneurs, young professionals, unemployed young people of South Africa to say what are the challenges and what are some of the interventions that we think that government and the private sector can come in and assist young people in playing a meaningful role in the KZN economy.
And you've managed to bring on board some important players. The mayor will be attending and addressing the gathering, as well as the MEC for Economic Development. And so as you have the ear of these decision makers on that occasion, what kind of themes or big issues are you hoping will be addressed?
Well, I think definitely the role of the states in any economic discussion is quite central and critical, and that's why we saw it necessary to invite and have the mayor as well as the MEC of Economic Development, Ubabusiboni Soduma, and we need those type of leaders who, when young people say to them, we have ideas, we have some economic plans that we have, and would like to share them with you. And they are listening and responsive to the plight of young people. Some of the key areas or some of the key themes that we've identified in KZN is logistics and construction, as well as the financial services. As a council, we firmly believe in targeting strategic areas of the economy. And in KZN, we know that it's a big, the financial services is one of the big areas of focus. We've got one of our biggest DFIs there looking at KZN Growth Fund and Itala, and we've also invited them to come and share with us some of their plans in terms of the development of young people and empowerment and economic opportunities that young people can access at those institutions, as well as some of the seaters that we've invited to say, what role can our skills development institutions play in developing young people to become active agents, economic agents, people who want to manage strategic assets and really make them and equip them for managerial posts and executive posts and ownership posts, and develop meaningful skills development programs. So we hope that with the intervention of some of those institutions, we'll start to see young people playing more of a critical role in those strategic sectors in KZN. And again, we'd like to thank the Department of Economic Development for having an ear and giving time to young people of KZN to say, come with your ideas, what are your challenges, and how can we as a department intervene in making sure that you guys are well capacitated and are supported at an economic level to become active agents and contribute positively to the KZN economy.
You spoke quite importantly around logistics and other big industries that young people should be participating in. And wonderfully enough, you've got the CEO of Transnet Freight Rail who will be attending this particular conference. But how do you get young people into an industry that is saturated with players that have been there for decades? Also with that, the issue that Transnet has not been able to get its ducks in a row when it comes to the infrastructure of the rail network and getting any of the goods that are produced in the country to those export lines to different countries across the world. How do young people navigate those two big challenges?
Well, definitely. And I think, the role of the CEO, Mamsizam Zimela, is going to be quite key in this discussion because Transnet is a strategic player in our economy and one that ought not to be left behind in any economic discussion. And they've got various areas of their value chain where young people are already playing a leading role at a business level. I mean, if you think of, for example, at the ports, in terms of some of the services that Transnet uses to load some of the minerals and some of the goods onto the ships for exports. There's a lot of economic activity happening there. There are many youth-owned businesses that approach us on a daily basis to say, look, we have these equipments, we'd like to play a role, but access is very difficult, funding is very difficult. So those are the type of businesses that will be there engaging Transnet and saying, look, we know that you guys have opened up lines for young entrepreneurs to enter the space, and these are some of the businesses that we have, and these are some of the services that we offer along your value chain, which is a very big value chain, by the way. So there are young people there that have got a track record, especially even in the space of maintenance, in the space of construction, and maintaining some of the infrastructure. There's many, many young people who are playing a leading role in the logistics space. And that's why we thought it necessary to highlight some of those youth-owned businesses, that young people are not just people that you see singing and dancing on TikTok and Instagram, but it's actually owners of businesses that are playing a key role in monopoly industries. It's young people who are engineers, who have started their own companies, and are now starting to feed back into our country's value chain. And those are the young people that will be at the Indaba, coming to say to Transnet, to Sunral, to all other institutions that are there, these are some of the businesses that we have, and this is how we want to play a role in your value chain, and this is the type of support that we need, and these are the type of challenges that we've faced in the past. The more we do that, we'll start to see a growth in SMMEs, trusting young people with business opportunities. They'll employ other young people, and then the knock-on effect is much greater, obviously, at a social level, where you'll start seeing less young people on the streets asking people for 5 Rand and 2 Rand, and seeing young people being active drivers of economic activity in these critical areas.